Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. It's Angela the Traveling Crafter, and I was just getting ready to wrap this up and make it pretty to put in my suitcase to take to the wedding, and I thought I should probably do a quick flip through and show you what I've created for dear sweet Miss Olivia for her wedding. So this is, I didn't want to do a wedding journal, so to speak. I wanted something, she is very artistic, she loves to paint, and I wanted to make something that she could, you know, if they go on a trip or if they go out to dinner, that she can just literally collage, junk journal, stick things in there. If she decides to paint, she can do that, but make it a little pretty and feminine at the same time. So that is what I did. And we're going to go ahead and get started, and I'll flip through this really quick. It's very simple. I had to refrain from going overboard and adding tons and tons of things because the intent is for Miss Olivia to do that on her own. So let's just go ahead and start off with the pretty little dangle. I showed my sister this. She's like, now what's the purpose of that? I'm like, well, she can use all of these little dangles if she wishes. She can just have it on her shelf as a little pretty, or it doesn't really have a purpose. It's just cute, right? So this is one that I made some time ago with the spools. We made these on camera. There is a video for that. One of the things that her mama, my bestie, told me is that they love to play pickleball. So this is very elegant, kind of a little froofy and Victorian. It's got a lot of vintage trims as well as new trims, but they like to play pickleball. So I ordered online this fun little keychain that she can take off if she wants and use. It's very blingy, very modern, very not matching this journal, but that's okay. That is the purpose. So there is that little cutie. There's some little vintage beads from necklaces on here. And then I also added, let's see if I can find them. Oh, I added some little skeleton keys, but I added some numbers. Where's the other one? So they're getting married on the 4th of October. I won't put this on the channel until after the wedding, so that, you know, I don't even think she watches my videos, but if in the off chance she did, we don't want her to see it before. So I put 10-4 on her, on there. She can take those off. She can use them somewhere else. You know, all of the good things. Now, before I show you this, let me show you. I had a whole bunch of things. I had my offcuts and all the things that I did not use that I was going to send and wrap together and make them all pretty. I don't have enough room in my suitcase, so we had to improvise. So this, I just stuck a little button and a vintage button. This is just a hanky, and then it's got Velcro on it. And then this, I just made it so it could open up and you could pull things in and out. But I put some little vintage things. Her colors, well, her wedding invitations were hydrangeas, blue hydrangeas. So I kind of kept in that creamy colored with a lot of the blues, a little bit of purple. But there's a lot of vintage little things in here. These are all little Denison labels. There's some tags and tickets and such. I did a little bag of miscellaneous things, some washi. This is some of the antique lace that you'll see there. There's a ruffle in there, some buttons, some bulb pins, because I wasn't sure what she had, and the antique skeleton key, some brads, just a few things that she can play around with. And then here are some more little goodies as well. I should probably put those, no, it's okay. And so that is one little package that I just whipped up so that she has some things to play with. And then I did one more. How did I have that in there? Did I have it in there this way? How did I have it? It's just that, all that is a little dot of glue. I did not sew it because I thought, well, she might want to take it apart and use it in the journal or do something else with it. So let's make it usable, right? So there is that one. And then this one is, this is just a piece of wallpaper that I sewed together. I don't even know what I put in here. Oh, I think this has some die cuts and some stickers that I used there. Yeah, here's the hydrangea stickers. Here's some, these are specifically wedding ones, but, you know, the intent is not for her to use it as a wedding journal, just more as a memory keeping journal if she so chooses, or an art journal. You know, when I travel, I like to take my watercolors, and you know, if she wanted, she could take the journal with her, take a glue stick or something, and you know, craft as she wished. Probably wouldn't take this big kahuna with me unless she wanted to use the laces on it. But for the topper, I decided not to put a topper on the actual journal. So this vintage or antique, let me pull it up here. This antique cabinet card, I just popped in a photo of the two of them. I tucked in, this is some vintage lace and both of these are vintage. This I think was from a curtain. And then just tucked in a piece of the seam binding in between it so it can be wrapped around and hold the journal shut. So that will go on the top. That way, if she wants to do something else with that, she can. You probably notice the theme here that I keep saying. It's made so she can pull things out, do things differently, use it how she wants. She could even use the cover and not use this journal, the guts, if you will, at all. So this is not vintage. This is, I don't know where I got this. Maybe Temu. But I wanted it to kind of go together with the vintage eyelet and such. This fabric, I did this when I was at Moe's. This was one of the covers that I did. When I put it together, I decided to, there is a envelope in the middle, one of the big mailing envelopes. And then I did use the batting and just some, what kind of fabric? Muslin, I think, is what I used. And this lace here was actually from a prom dress that my grandma and I made together. And I found that when I was, at her house. So I used that as the cover there. And then this was another piece of vintage lace and a piece of vintage, this is not vintage ribbon. It's kind of a rosy gold, but I thought it looked kind of cute. And I just made a little loop on there at the top just for a little, to add some interest. So then you open up the journal. And what I did with it is I made the journal so the actual envelope only goes to right here. And then I left this as it was and made this into a pocket. So I stuck a few things in there that I had made that I thought kind of went with this. And then I made this into, there's a magnet in here. So this is another pocket that she can put little goodies as well. And then I just trimmed it with some of that vintage eyelet. And this is one of Joni from Not So Fast Joni's little crocheted flowers. So I did get in a previous video I showed, so there's a pocket here. And like I said, I left pretty much everything blank, but I did order some hydrangea papers. I wasn't in love with a lot of them, but I did pick out the ones that I did like a lot. This is a little dangle that I made some time ago, so she can use that to write on if she wants. This is wallpaper. She could collage on it. She can paint on it. The one thing I didn't do, you know what I might do? Hang on a second. I have this notebook. It's not, I made this for myself, but this is all this is a composition, a composition notebook that I just covered. It matches well. And it's got a little pocket here and then just writing space. Remember, this is one I took apart and then put back together so it would lay flat. But I'm kind of wondering if perhaps I will put this with it, because that I can fit in the bag. That way she can, if she wants, she can use these pieces that are sturdy and that have the wallpaper on it. And if she wanted to paint on something, she could use that as her writing board, if you will. Maybe I'll do that. I think I will. Just something a little bit extra. It's extra. Is that coming off? It looks like it might be. Let's put a little dab of glue right here. because that's right where the little dangle is. And I did not put a lot of dangles on it. I didn't put a lot of extras because if she's going to paint in it or, you know. So, Liv, if you're watching this, all you need is some glue sticks, some scissors, and all of your memories, and then you're good to go. So you can just pop them right in there. This is the back of the wallpaper. Now, you know that when I create journals, I like to leave the writing in there. I don't know. It just makes, it's a junk journal, right? One of the things that her sis and her mom shared with me is that they love ice cream. So this is from an old, well, it's a reproduction book from, oh, I don't remember where this one was from. Maybe like a reminisce book. I did find an ice cream image, and in here I put in just a recipe for homemade ice cream, and then this is for cherry ice cream. I should take a picture of this because I would probably like this. And look, it's written on the back of a gift awaits you from Clifton, Kansas. This is actually from my great-grandma BB's recipes and ephemera, so I popped that in there for them. They'll have to let me know if they try it. She was also a music major and a musician, so I did do a lot of antique and vintage music in here. This is a antique piece. This is actually a piece from the ledger, an antique ledger book. This is mixed media paper, so she can paint on it if she wants. This is just a map, a little map paper clip that I made. We made these together on camera as well. This has New York on it, and so I have a list of things that they like to do or places that they've been. So I use that kind of as my jumping off point. A vintage piece of Braille. And here is another one of those wallpaper envelopes. And inside of here, I just tucked a few sheets of watercolor paper. So it's handy if she wants to bring her little watercolors. You know, when I travel, I always bring, I either bring my watercolor pens or watercolor markers, or I'll just bring a small palette, and then I bring my water pens. You know, I don't have any sitting here. I think they're all in my, but it's just a pen with water in it, and then I can just use those, and it works really well. This is for shortbread cookies. This, again, was from my Grandma BB's recipes. This is a piece of vintage ledger. Here is a vintage postcard from New York City, the skyline back in the day. It is from 1970, Lower Manhattan skyline. This is a vintage, I did not make this, but this is from a vintage piece of fabric with a vintage button, and it was made into a hair clip, so I just put that on there. She can use it as a hair clip if she wants. And some more music. It says When It's Springtime in the Rockies. And they've been to Colorado, so I thought that was a good one. You know, you can't go wrong with Colorado. More ice cream. This is another antique ledger. I did use some of my washi tape. This is the Amity Bloom washi, just to kind of coordinate with that. This is a piece of vintage. This was from a table runner. Some gingham. This is from one of my snippet rolls that I did a long time ago, several years ago. And it is a pocket, so she can put things in there as well. More of the hotel register. So her fiance, by the time you see this, her husband, went to Ole Miss. And I was so excited when her mom told me, Kim is her mom's name, that because Olivia went to Georgia Southern. So I was like, oh, did Landon go to Georgia Southern too? And she said, no, he went to Ole Miss. Well, some time ago, maybe it was when I was in Mississippi. I feel like it wasn't, like I got it somewhere in Iowa maybe, but don't quote me on that. Anywhoosies, I got a yearbook from the 1970s. This is from Ole Miss, and I need to probably look it up and see. I'll have to let her know what year it was from, but this is the big rivalry between Ole Miss and Mississippi State, and of course, Ole Miss that year won. So that was a no-brainer. I popped that in there. He actually was on the, I believe, disc golf team. Now, back then, they didn't have disc golf, so I couldn't find anything like that. But I thought it was kind of fun. An ode to Landon. This is another piece of that antique paper. So what's nice about it is if she wants to rip pieces off, if she wants to do something to put on another page, that's the intent, is that she can use all these pages as she wishes. She doesn't have to use even any of these, and I'll show you why in a minute. This is another piece from a snippet I did, and this is like an old, from a girdle strap, and that's on there on that piece of the braille. More of the hydrangeas. This is a piece of vintage notebook paper. It was actually in a ledger. The mixed media paper, more of the antique paper, music sheet. There's some more. This is from an old soda fountain. And the wallpaper, and then the last of the hydrangea. Now, let me show you what I did. If you are new and you're not familiar with what Midori style is, what I decided to do with this, instead of sewing the signature directly into the cover, I wanted her to be able to slide things out, slide things in. So maybe she gets a card from somebody or from her lovely husband. She can just pop that in. She can take out some pages and use them in her collage or in her design. And she doesn't have to worry about the integrity of the journal. She can just take pieces out, put pieces in. And if she wishes, and she wants to use this cover for something else, she can take the whole signature out, do something different with it, and she has her cover to use for whatever she wishes. This is just an over the page little fabric flip banner, and I did do, they got engaged in where did they get engaged? Maybe Jekyll Island, they got engaged. So I wanted something beachy in there for them. This is just a little piece of dictionary page I put in there. You know, I should put this somewhere else. Back in that other signature where you can't really tell it's a pocket. So there's a pocket there, another piece of wallpaper. This was just a sticker that I put on there. This is, I looked it up, but this was from the yearbook, and it was a very popular restaurant back in the day. It has a really cool history, and I don't remember it at the moment. But I thought this was kind of cool to add in here, and this is the little pocket. In fact, we can probably put that in there. You know, school days, piece of dictionary, more football. This was from what's that book called? P is for Peach, a Georgia alphabet. I've gotten these before, and so I used some of the pages out of that. That is what this is from. This is a piece of watercolor paper that I just ripped a little bit just to give it a little bit of interest. More of that scrapbook paper. And here is when it's springtime in the Rockies, again, back to their trip to Colorado. This is this Times Square in New York City, and this came from a scrapbook. This is from 1940, and this one is from the St. Elmo and Chautauqua Institution in Chautauqua, New York, and that was from 1937. And then this was the cover of sheet music. So I tried to incorporate a lot of things that were music related, sports related, school related. Unfortunately, I didn't have anything from Georgia Southern, so she's going to have to fill in those blanks. This is from an antique, it was from a school book, and I had several of them, but I like this one because it said peaches and cream. And this is just a belly band, so she can slip things inside of here if she wants, if she's got little receipts or tickets or cards or whatever. She was a music major, and I'm pretty sure she teaches music unless something changed. So this is this was from, gosh, what year? I want to say early 1920s. But it is basically this is for Miss Molly Troy, and it's her, she was the teacher, and this is the daily attendance record for her class. Ronald, Fern, Arlene, Leland, Louise, Mildred, Isla, Vera, and Stanton. Another over-the-page little piece that she can stick things under. This was from that P is for, what did I say? Yeah, P is for Peach book. It's got a little pocket, and it's got the story about peaches were first grown in Georgia in the 1700s. There's a Georgia peach pound cake recipe, and P is for peaches. Here's another piece of that daily attendance record, and this one I made into a pocket, but I did not, did I? Oh, I thought I didn't glue it, but maybe it is kind of glued, but she can choose to open it back up. Yeah, it's not supposed to be glued. Let me just pull this up. I'm kind of afraid to do that. I'm going to leave it. But if she wanted, she could take that page out and use the directions for the teacher. And so I just used this little hair clip pin on there. More of the washi tape. Scrapbook paper. Now this stuff wasn't really applicable. So this is another piece from that yearbook. This group here, but there's women in it, so I'm not really sure exactly how that works. I'll show you the other side of it. This is from that yearbook. There's the center page. And then here, he was a Sigma Chi, and so it's got all of their names on here and all of that good stuff. So there's writing space in here, and then this 1970s piece. I left this open for a pocket, so if she wants, she can do something with it. She can glue it shut. But I wanted her to have the versatility of that. She can take it out. She can use the paper. Here's another pocket. This is the other side of the school attendance log. This is another piece from the Tennessee book, or Peach book, and it is talking about live oaks. And then I think, didn't I? I don't remember if I used the O, but I just used the L because it went through each letter of the alphabet. I don't know if I used the O. But another little pocket for her to put things, another piece of the vintage paper, more of the school exam paper. This is the other side of Kiss Me With Your Eyes paper. And this is just a little flashcard with a little paper clip on the side. This is the other piece of the watercolor paper. 1902, this is from, there you go, now we know. There's the O. And I just glued this one down to that book page. So let's just get that in here. Yes, today is travel day. Now, hopefully by the time you watch this, everything will be all taken care of, but they just announced this morning that the government was shutting down and that the TSA and travel stuff could be a little bit of a hassle. So I'll let you know. We don't leave until 5:30, so this, I just use this, the back of this wallpaper. I use this this is the Okefenokee National Wildlife Refuge, and made that into a belly band. This is a pocket. This is some antique lace. And then there's this that I made. We made these together as well. It's just you can open it up. You can use it as an envelope, or you can just use it for hidden journaling. And this is the other side of that wallpaper with the beachy theme. This is a piece of antique. I think it was a part of a baby blanket. And I just made that into a pocket, and that is the last page, or the back page of the journal. So very simple, but hopefully she will just have a heyday turning it into something special. And, you know, it's not the perfect size to, you know, take on your travels, but, you know, I always have to have my hands busy, so I need to take things, and that's why I have my little travel kit that I always travel with me, which is already packed in my carry-on. And we are ready to rock and roll. So I'm going to put that together. I'm going to take it up, tuck it in my suitcase, and make sure it's all nice and neat in there. And then I do have a gift bag that I'll put it in when we get there, but it's all ready to rock and roll. I hope she loves it, and I am so excited to spend some time with my bestie and her girls. Landon is going to be my date because Dave is traveling to the Boundary Waters up north to go canoeing. And little known fact, obviously none of you know this, but the girls are twins, and they share a birthday with Landon. Or Landon shares a birthday with them, I should say. So that's pretty fun. I hope you enjoyed that little flip through of the custom journal, and I can't wait to give it to Miss Olivia. Until next time, friends, remember to take time to just be, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.